وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. My dear brethren, today we remember the birthday of the man we follow. It is true that Islamically there are only two formal Eids, the post-Ramadan Eid and the Hajj. But the door is open to seek every opportunity to remind ourselves and to consolidate our belief and our affirm to establish this religion on this earth. We remember the man whom God has chosen to convey his message. We remember the man whom God had told us that he is our good example to follow. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. And believe it or not, we remember the man who remembered us. Because one day the Prophet was with his companions and suddenly he said, I wish I could see my beloved ones. And his companions said, Messenger of Allah, are we not your beloved ones? But he said, no, you are my companions. But my beloved ones are the ones who will come after me, later after me, who have never seen me, and yet they follow me, adhere to me, and cling to my religion. So, my children, my brothers and my sisters, I give you the glad tidings that the Prophet recognized us as his beloved, even without knowing us. And he recognized that we are the ones who will live the day when a person holds tight to the faith of Islam, it would be as if he was holding in his hand a piece of coal fire. And indeed, with the turmoil of the society, with the happenings of the world, we feel like honorably swimming against the current in many respects, resisting the temptations to be swept over by peer pressures and by the temptations of the society and by the sensual pleasures. But we do resist and we cling steadfastly to our religion in spite of all temptation, in spite of all difficulty. Today should have been my first lecture to the elders of the youth group on ethics, but the youth and I thought, what is more ethical than commemorating the birthday of the Prophet and perhaps having the opportunity to review some of the ethics laid down by Prophet Mohammad alayhi salatu wasalam. It is difficult to sum up all this in the limited time we have, but perhaps we have a bird's eye view on the teachings of the Prophet, especially relating to the ethics he laid down. Perhaps one of the most basic sayings of the Prophet ﷺ is his definition of ihsan when he was asked about the meaning of the word. And the word ihsan in the Arabic language would be loaded with meanings. It might connotate excellence, goodness, precision, doing things as perfect as possible, etc. But the Prophet's answer was that ihsan is to worship God as if you see him, for even though you don't see him, he sees you. And immediately he abolished in one sentence the loneliness of anyone who can feel lonely. He established the companionship between each and every one of us and the God. Even if we are alone, God is with us. And we act accordingly, for even though we do not see God, God sees us. And bear in mind the tremendous impact of such teaching if the person, the individual, believes that he is never alone, that God is always there watching, how effective that will be in correcting one's course in life. Another very general but very effective statement of the Prophet ﷺ is the establishment of the relation of fraternity between members of the human race. In the hadith where he said, "You are all to Adam, and Adam is from dust," putting us in a single phrase as one family. And although we are divided into nations and the tribes, but reminding us that all family trees lead up to Adam and Eve, and that humanity is one family, irrespective of color, of tongue, of race, of religion, of country, of ethnicity, etc., etc. So the ever-presence of God and the fraternity of the human race were established to us in two sentences enjoined upon us by the Prophet ﷺ. And it is a fraternity that can transcend the limitation even of religion, because the human being is honored by virtue of being human, not only by virtue of being Muslim. And if we differ in our religions, but we are all human beings, we always remember that God honored the human race, saying, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. The very ascription, the very relation to Adam and Eve is the raison d'etre of being honored, and as a human race, indeed, we are honored. It is true that the Prophet made the Muslims one nation and told us that we will never attain faith unless we wish for our brother what we wish for ourselves. And this indeed is a lesson which, if applied and fulfilled in human life, would make humanity a happy family.